Hello and welcome to another developer update reaction video with me, Beck Altarr, where I'm going to watch the video, give my thoughts and opinions and my reactions to the latest developer video. I know this one's a little late. My computer was broken. I had to get a brand new motherboard and it's all fixed and working, apparently, because we're here and we're watching this. So let's get into the video because, well, it's an hour and a half long for the video. Let's try and keep this reaction to under 2 hours. Anybody want to take any bets on if that'll be possible or not? Here we go. So this is the Alpha 1 preview gameplay footage, development update, March 26th. I've already liked it. Showing my support.
Hello everyone, welcome to
Hello.
development live stream
Hello.
for Ashes of Creation.
Not anybody cares.
Guys, I have a lawnmower.
She always has a lawnmower.
That was so funny, Margaret, when you came on and said hello, the lawnmower just started picking up and moving.
It's like it's like
the perfect time.
the lawnmower guy's always there at the same time every month.
Other stuff, so it's just, it's one of those days when you're working from home and it's affecting everything. So welcome to our glorious development update. If you've never seen one of these,
And feel free to chime in with your thoughts and opinions as well, guys.
Departments are doing and making, and it's fabulous. So first and foremost, we have our monthly cosmetics.
Yeah, can't say I'm impressed. Not interested. Not. I mean, the RAM is about the only thing that's dwarven.
Our news post, we always let you know whenever the swap overs happen.
But I think the RAM's a pet,
so you can go
which doesn't make any sense because it should be a dwarf pet.
Our high. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just love that RAM.
Oh yeah, the Ram's my chunky boy Ram. I love it. And of course, we had last month our dev discussion was in terms of Ashes hybrid combat. Where do you think you'll be speccing your character? Majority action-based guild or a majority tab-based guild?
I'll probably be mostly tab-based because I'll be a healer. And tab is easier when you're a healer.
I know that's gonna have a lot of discussions. It's already, I saw one of the programmers saying like, I'm gonna try to break the system. So we'll see what happens in regards to all of that, and we'll be taking in all of your feedback. I know that's something that Jeff's team will be reading over thoroughly. And of course, we have our dev discussion for April, which will be on mentoring. So get your mind in that headspace, and we'll share that with you. And with that, we also are now adding these guild gathering discussions because we are building out some of our guild systems and social systems of sorts. And last month's question was, what guild hall features would you like to see in Ashes of Creation?
All of them.
Features have you liked from other games? What features do you think?
Expandable, needs to have trophies, member of the month,
Wonderful answers for that.
guild
Thank you
trade,
so much.
guild
And
chests.
of course, we'll have another one coming up in April, and it's going to be about measuring.
Should be like a guild caravan.
One of the things that is super important for guilds, right? We want to be able to feel like we've accomplished things and that we're competitive with other guilds.
That's where the trophy rooms come in.
What the community has on that end.
How's the volume of the stream as well? Let me know.
Announced our playtest dates that we have changed up a bit. And our next one will be May 14th through May 21st. And of course, if you are already part of our preview testing, we will be doing spot testing with you. We have already been doing that, but that is all under NDA. So, shh.
Yeah, just to touch on this a little bit, those of you who didn't see the announcement for the changes in the dates, this was something that was definitely possible. Obviously, we can't predict the unknowns that come out of our testing, and the testing is very important. It does provide us that data, and our Alpha 1 testers have done a tremendous, amazing job in kind of
how's
putting
that?
up with
It's
all
a little
of
better.
The bug tests and spot tests that they've had to kind of endure, but we did see some significant improvements that even our testers are very happy about with regards to stability, and we did solve some issues that we found in February, and now are moving back and forward again. So there's always a possibility when you're in active development that timelines are going to change. We try to make that commitment that we only give you dates when we're very, very, very confident, 100% confident that they're going to happen. But obviously, at the end of the day, things come up. We're trying to make the best possible game, and that's going to take time to address. And that's what we're here to do.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that, and obviously the development update stuff. But yeah, we're gonna find things along the way. That's the beauty of development.
Yes. And it's
Sometimes
always
it's
good to find that stuff earlier than it is to find it later. And that's why, we are doing this thing in a transparent, process. We're showing you guys monthly updates. We're giving you monthly game footage. And you can see that progress in real time happening as you're a part of this process with us, being able to give us feedback, and you see those little changes get made because of the feedback that the community's given us, such as the fireball animation, the combat reworking that's going to be showed off. Like this is a cool experience to have, not just as a team developing the game, but shared with our community, you guys, because it ensures the quality of the product when it comes to market is going to be up to all of our standards and is going to make all of us proud. So we appreciate the patience, appreciate the understanding. It's a process, and you guys are with us every step of the way, and we love it.
Yeah,
people
also
want to
just
duck
wanted to
mount.
say, like, we're doing some really
A lot of
cutting
this
edge
stuff I
stuff.
could
Like,
honestly
we're kind of at
skip
the
ahead
leading
on.
edge of what technology allows for. And so, yeah, that's one of the reasons
Not a
why,
whole lot of
stuff
anything to
is
react
changing so
here.
fast. Is we're kind of learning as we go because we are pushing boundaries really, really far. So it's pretty exciting.
May even have some type of job fair that's virtual and physical when we get back into the new studio. Very excited for that as well. We might be accelerating that timeline. Originally, it was planned for July 1st, but it might be happening a little bit sooner. So can't
I'm
wait
so
to.
excited
One
for
can
this
hope.
idea.
One can hope, but
Also,
we'll
to see
see.
everybody, I miss you all.
It's going to be.
With all of these COVID variants and all the shenanigans going along with that, and with the vaccines that are, killing people with blood clots or whatever, yeah, we can be hopeful. We can absolutely be hopeful, but I would not be surprised if we see a delay in when they get into their studio. And I really hope they do get into their studio sooner than later, because once they get into studio, their development process will be able to ramp up much quicker, much faster, and they'll be able to collaborate more efficiently, and we'll really be able to start moving forward at, I think, a little further, a little quicker pace than I think they're able to do right now. So I really hope that as the weather gets better and nicer, that these variants or whatever, this whole COVID thing starts to go away again, like it did last year, before they told everybody to wear a mask, and then it reinflated the entire thing all over again. So I hope we don't see that happen again. And I don't envy what you guys got going on in Ontario there, Pug. I mean, that is just wow. That's all I can say. It's just wow. It just blows my mind, what the premier is doing there and the rules that he's trying to put out there and stuff like that. It's very authoritarian, very draconian, and it's not solving any problems whatsoever. But that's an entirely different conversation. But it's delaying things. It's delaying everything because of how it's being handled, and it's not being handled very well. These guys should have been in their new studio a year ago. They've been talking about this new studio for 2 years. So, like, even with social distancing and stuff, they still could have had some people in a studio. Not everybody, but they could have had a handful of people, and done more. But I don't know the rules entirely in California and how they work. But it'll look good. It'll be good when they get into the studio, because their development process will definitely start taking bigger steps, maybe even perhaps leaps in their overall development. So I'm really rooting for them to get into their new studio. I mean, they're probably more excited than I am, but I really would like to see them in their new studio working as a team, as you would expect a development team to be.
It's going to be fun to get back in and actually talk to people in person again. I'm excited.
I don't know if
Yes.
I'm going to be awkward even more than I already am.
Yeah,
I haven't
for
seen
sure.
people in ages.
It's gonna be weird, but it's gonna be a great weird because it has been far too long that we have not seen each other in person. The Bears are operating quite well, but we can chat a little bit afterwards. I think.
Yeah.
Keep in mind this is all work in progress. This is pre-test of Alpha 1. This is Vera in its current state, so things will only get better from here.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen the photo that or the screenshot that Steven shared on Twitter, it's retweeted on our official.
I think I
Alpha
remember
group on
seeing
Twitter,
that
too.
one.
You have to see it just toast in the middle of like
Yeah,
5,000
she just-
bears.
Yeah,
we
it was
lost
like
the
Where's
toast.
Waldo?
All right, well, we'll be right back after we play a short video for you all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another 4K video inside the world of Vera with our Alpha 1 pretesting. I'm joined by our amazing
Definitely looks good.
Luperza, Margaret Crone. Hey, Margaret, how you doing?
Hi, I'm excited.
Yay! Yeah, I noticed you're rocking the hairdo.
I know, this
I
hairstyle
love
is
that
so
hair.
cool. Yeah, it's one of my faves.
I can't wait to see more of those. We also have Toast.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy
also
Friday.
rocking a hairdo. It's just on the front of my face.
Oh yeah, you got the
That's
the
great.
beard going on.
The female dwarf
I like the little
beard.
beads.
I noticed you're not Tiny Toast right now.
Yeah, apparently I already had a character called Tiny Toast here, so I switched it up.
Oh, sad.
Just regular size toast.
Just regular.
So have the
type.
male and female
And then
version of
over
the same
here
armor.
in the cool robes, we have Mr. Jeffers.
I'll be your mage for today.
Oh yeah, playing a mage. Very nice. You know, we fixed that black hole. I don't know if you know that.
Do we really fix it?
Well, not really. We just removed the pull effect until we can actually fix
What
it.
the viewers missed earlier was Jeffers porting himself into the wall.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
true.
cool.
We rescued him. He's
I
okay
merged
now.
with the wall.
But
He was trying to get to platform 9 3/4.
I know, and he didn't make it. It's so sad. But as you guys can see, we're here in the starting area for the Alpha 1 map, and we're just going to kind of take you through and show you some of the updates that are being made. I know that we announced the delay in Alpha 1's NDA release. And there's good reason for that. You know, there's some stuff that we found back in February that in February's testing that was problematic, and you don't know you're going to find that stuff until you find it. So we took the better part of February and March, and we've actually fixed those things. You might have seen some updates about that on Reddit or in Discord, and we'll show off some stuff as we kind of run around. But let's take a look at the new starting area.
Oh,
I know
looks
it's got
really
some
good.
tender love and care from the
I
environment
mean,
team.
look at the fidelity.
Let's
the
run around up
detail.
here. Oh.
It looks
You know what?
really
Don't we have
good. I
mouse?
like the lighting, the way the lighting's
mouse.
reflecting
I do.
off
I
the
have
stone
fox.
and wood there.
Ooh, you guys have
Oh, I have a
foxes
fox
too.
too.
Oh, look
I
at this.
know.
Where'd you guys get your foxes from?
You guys are all too close to me.
Oh,
There you go.
we should. Oh, you know what? These foxes have a really cool effect on the sitting. We should line up and sit together at the same time.
Yeah, where are you?
Yeah, where'd
We
you go?
lost toast.
Oh, did we
Oh,
lose
there we
Toast?
go.
I see Toast.
No, I lost
I see.
Steven.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Line up. Wait for it. Wait for it. And sit. Aww. Yeah, these are great mount. I think Jinsey worked on this one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any of the effects yet, though. So there's gonna be
Yeah, we
some
haven't
like,
done a VFX pass on this, but it should be pretty rad.
yeah, there's
It's
gonna be
really
like
cool.
fire and stuff.
Yeah, looks
Weird
looks
thing,
looks
it'll look
okay.
Even more adorable.
Everybody running around on a
Pretty much.
browser.
When we were
Firefox.
designing this, I was like, Catkins, Myers, please, can I have two tails? So I'm glad they let us put that in the design.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can walk with yours by pressing period. Oh, I love its little walk. It's just like, what's going on? But as you guys can see, there's been some significant lighting changes here in this area. There's been some work
like the
on
look of that wagon
foliage,
there. It
on the
looks really
trees
good.
that are available. Toned down some of the ruins, rearranged some of the tents, and it's starting to look pretty good in this area. Oh, there's Sergeant Landry. I just like how
Has
we're
he got a
walking.
quest for us?
Sergeant Laundry.
He will always have a
Mr.
quest.
Laundry.
Mr. Laundry.
I call him Sergeant Laundry.
He was our first quest giver ever, so I think he'll always have a spot.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's like an Easter egg throwback to the original.
Let's see what his quest is. Ah, we've made it to the other side of Vera. Thank goodness we've arrived. I need to put to work immediately. What is your specialty? I am a channeler of life and death. What are you guys?
I'm a tank.
Oh, nice.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
It says you are a tank.
It says I'm a channeler of life and death. It's like, I'm tank.
I'm a tank. Hey, don't judge me.
Ours
okay?
is much more flavorful.
Here, I'll do this.
I'm tank.
Let's see. Okay, it says to head down this old road, take a left.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
gonna
can't
have
miss
to
them,
figure out
and
how to
we'll
get my
fight
Stream
against
Deck and
these.
Vox
What are they?
voice mod to
Animated
work
armors?
properly.
You guys have seen this
Oh,
quest
it's
before.
probably why it's not working.
Why don't
My
we?
boom
You know,
mic.
we should take them and show them.
Probably because
one of
the
new
voice
areas.
mod.
Look at Jeff's just strolling.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Which one do you want to look at, Jeff?
Let's see. There's this cool corrupted area we've been working on.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? At this point, so far, we're only seeing graphics. We're only seeing environment, right? We're not seeing game mechanics. We're not seeing world mechanics of any kind. So, yes, this looks nice. Yes, this is pretty. But this doesn't really show us anything development-wise as far as the core mechanics of the game. And I'm hoping we'll see some of that. But so far, they're just kind of running around, right? They're not really showing anything mechanic-wise. And, you know, I want to see more foundational elements of this game. You know, so we have a mage, we have a tank. I don't know what these other two classes, I don't know what Steven's other two classes are. I can't really tell by the tooltips down here. I'm thinking healer maybe, so or another caster. So I mean, what are we seeing more than just the same three classes even?
It's not
Ooh.
quite finished, but it's looking really good right now.
Okay, so like corruption. By corruption, you mean that essentially, like some of the areas in Vera obviously have significantly more influence of corruption, and you can kind of see that in the environment itself, right?
Right, it kind of wants to reach out and take control of things that are around it, so it slowly grows over time. And I think there's an area here where it's kind of made a really good purchase.
Well, it looks like the dwarf at least, you know, has got its
take a
social
look.
distancing
Oh, no.
circle.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't even know how I attacked you.
And PvP.
Oh no.
The flag.
Yeah, I know. It's because my push to talk is alt, and that's also the force attack.
Jeff was saying earlier that his push attack is his dodge roll, so if you keep seeing him dodging,
Yeah,
that's
if you see
why.
me dodging around, that's because it's on control.
Well, I apologize, Toast. Yeah, Jeff, take us there. We'll port to you.
All right, let's go. Hang on.
I mean, it all looks really good, right? The fire looks good. You got all these little particle effects. Looks like it's kind of snowing.
That was not a
Yeah,
good
the mount
place.
looks okay.
Do you get sense of bad
Are you?
I got
did you
some-
fall
You
through the
know,
world?
it looks a little lax as far as NPCs go. You know, I mean, you think in a starting
I
area,
love the
there'd
lighting.
be a little more
I'm just
hustle and
waiting for you to
bustle.
get to where you need to be. I'm kind of running.
But yeah, I mean, it looks great. Like,
She's
there's
cheating, she's
you can't
cheating.
take away from how this
We need
looks.
some J.J. Abrams lens flare in this.
But a game is
Don't
more
do
than how it looks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, the lens flare. Yeah, it is kind of cool.
All right, I'm gonna port to you.
Don't look into the light.
All right, moving to Jeffers.
on my way. Oh no.
Oh no.
And he falls to the world.
Oh, not like this. Oh no.
See, now this
It's
is
okay, hold on,
something.
hold on.
This is something you
Uh,
test in alpha,
let me try it
right?
again.
So this is an alpha test thing that you would do.
Ah, I made it. I made it.
So
I
that's
made
good.
it. I made it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw there was under the world of Vera, there is a deep, dark place filled with water. No, just...
Water as far as the eye can see. Steven, you're going the wrong way.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
A little
Toast is,
little
T-posed
T-posed
on her
on
box.
top of the box there.
Might want to
Wait, did I
dismount
find
now.
you guys? Okay.
There you go. All right. Where are we going? This doesn't look very corrupt. This looks
it's pretty
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this
I'd
does not look
lush,
corrupt.
lush,
I feel
lush.
lied to.
Jungle.
I'd build a house over here.
You might not. The property values are going to go down pretty quick.
Uh-oh.
I guess it depends on what you place as a value in your home.
So where are we going?
Follow Jeffers.
Huh. Some of these plants are looking a little sad.
The tail movement, the tail animation is very hypnotic.
Oh,
Oh, whoa.
Watch
What
out
is
for
this?
Pretty Lily.
Pretty Lily.
Ah!
The perfect. Oh, uh-oh.
She
Coming
doesn't
for
like
us.
me.
Oh, that's kind of
No,
interesting. Some
she
sort
does
of
not
a
like you.
corruption crystal
Oh, yeah.
or
Is she
something.
dead? Oh, yeah, we should be in a party. Hold on, let me invite you guys. Alright, I got Jeff. I got Toast. And I've got Luparza.
Yes. It is a me.
Alright, where are we going? Oh, it looks like it's getting a little...
I can
Ooh,
see,
look at
yeah.
that.
It's kind of
This
reaching
area
out.
here,
I
yeah.
kind of love it.
So now, as things progress in the world, these corrupted areas dynamically evolve with the progression of nodes, yeah?
Yeah, all of our POIs and kind of just the world in general can react to the node. We don't have to, but we can. And this is one of those places where as civilization grows, this will grow kind of in contest with it.
Oh my gosh. So this is cool.
Oh, are you over there killing stuff?
Oh, why are you... Oh, you're green. I thought you were red. So you...
I'm just
the,
protecting you all.
the corruption on these tree assets is really cool. Like, you can see it's kind of has some crystalline formations, but it's also like affecting the
The
ground.
veins, yeah.
That's interesting. Ooh. Okay. It's getting a little darker as we move in. Oh yeah, this is creepy.
I like the creepy vibe.
Now this
Into it.
area is still in development.
really.
I mean, still being actively worked on though. Yeah.
The mic
Yeah,
must be
actively
picking up something.
We just had a check-in with Mia, who was doing this area last
My mic's
Monday,
picking
and
up.
she checked all this stuff in, so we're kind of
Maybe
looking
the
at it
tower.
and giving her feedback.
Turn the
We
HUD
still
up.
got a few more passes.
I'll try
I
and
think
fix the
we'll be
boom
done
mic
for
or the
Sparkles.
headset mic here
Yeah,
before
this
I
is
get
creepy.
to some other gaming.
And then once it's done, we'll do a population pass, and then that's kind of how we work towards.
So what
getting
is
stuff
corruption exactly then? Because
Oh, it looks great. I love
it's
the
looking like
lighting and
it's-
the effects
it's
around the base of
crystals.
the tree over here. That's kind of cool.
more than
It'd be
anything.
fun
They're
as like
also,
if you were
during OS, you're
proximity.
going to see some of the other progress towards this, so it'll be interesting to see it in game versus
Yeah.
some of the screenshots we have.
If you like had some proximity check on this like tree, for example, and like as players walked into the area and it started spawning like corrupt creatures, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be very
I like
cool.
it.
Little like whips and chains come off the tree, like attack you and restrain you.
Whips, chain spells, whistles, and then in a monkey.
Oh, my note.
No,
the corruption.
Oh, we have an untextured. We have an
like a creature. There was like a whopping, like a whooping.
As you guys will see, as we said, this area is in active development, so you see a little untextured rock here.
the gray box text.
It's kind
The
of a
gray box texture.
gray
yeah.
blob.
One of the things I love about this area is that like the whole like geometry of everything is off kilter, right? So it's like not only do things get creepier,
Yeah.
but they also just start feeling wrong. It's pretty cool.
Very Torn
Mhm.
Earth-esque.
Like the Earth is trying to eat itself.
Oh my God.
Oh, we're walking on.
Walking
This
on
is sort of a-
sunshine. Hey.
Still being actively-
walking on air there.
Oh, it
you
looks
see
great.
Must be
Oh,
an-
look at that.
Must be an asset that doesn't
There's
have
some
anything.
dungeon up
You
here.
want
Like pulsate.
And pulse.
Oh, yeah, so the
Ooh,
crystals
it's
just keep getting
redder
bigger.
The deeper we go in.
Get more of
Another
them.
I'm
Textured rock.
expecting a big boss.
Still
over
pretty
here.
bright though,
Oh, there's like some creepy.
which is
gate
kind of
over
nice,
here.
right? Like you're in a darker
Oh,
area.
okay.
And I kind of like how, even though they're in a darker area, you got this ambient redness going on, the sunlight is still coming down equally. And a lot of the games usually you get into this kind of zone, and then it all gets murky. I mean, I like think about Valheim when you get into a swamp, right? It goes into nighttime. Why? Like the trees, the canopy don't really change that much. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that. You know, the sunlight overhead is still there, and even though you have all this corruption and stuff, it's only at the surface that it changes, you know, the hue and the glow of the lighting, and there's that saturation. I like that. I think that's a much nicer effect than, like I said, than what you find in a traditional game where the sun stays overhead, and that's and the whole environment changes. I don't like that so much. It doesn't feel as realistic to me. So I like this. I like what they've done here with the lighting.
Wow, look at the. I love the rocks and the lighting.
Still waiting, though,
What
to
was
see an actual game mechanic here.
Oh, there's some weird creature.
Uh-oh.
There's a suffering wanderer. We should kill it.
I don't know if we
Hold
can
on,
get
let me turn my HUD back on. Well, it's suffering. We should put it out of its misery, you know? Oh, let me see if I can... Oh, it walks all weird. No!
Oh,
Get it!
creepy.
What does it do?
Well, it's definitely an interesting looking mob. It's all kind
Oh
of
yeah, we can kill this. I thought you meant the big one over there.
disjointed. I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Feels good.
What do we got?
Definitely interesting.
Okay, what about this dude? Can we... He looks harder.
He's definitely harder.
We try to pull... Just, I mean, we should... If it's starting to... Well, let's see.
Yeah, so we're still seeing the same three classes we've always seen.
Get off our world!
You know, the same abilities we've seen for months now.
Yeah, he's gonna be... He's
Oh
gonna
my
be...
gosh.
He's gonna take a while.
It's like barely budging.
No. No. Okay, you guys have seen this one though. Let's run. Let's run. Let's go
run.
over. Let's go outside again. You know, something that was cool. That
Well, that's definitely different
players,
from WoW.
you know,
I mean, you
outside
have
of Alpha 1
aggro on a
testers.
creature. Well, I guess you can
No,
still
I was
mount
just
up,
trying
I
to
guess.
jump on the
as long as
fox
it
and
doesn't
jump.
hit you.
Okay, I'm running.
something that was
Still,
cool
it's nice.
that we did a couple weeks ago, and I posted on it on Twitter, and then I think somebody put it on Reddit as well. But I accidentally summoned 5,000. It was really an accident, honestly. I summoned 5,000 bears. But the cool thing that happened is that our server didn't crash, which is, you know, these are actual NPCs with, you know, behavior trees and a blackboard and AI component. And even though it wasn't good on the rendering side, the cool test was that the server was still operating.
Still see the
at,
volcano
about 10
there
FPS,
off in the
which is good.
distance.
And those are processing frames, not rendering frames. But maybe we find an open little area over here. We can summon some of these just to show you guys.
Another
Like,
5,000.
no. I don't know. Oh, somebody's flying.
50,000.
How'd you do that? Oh my God, you're all flying. That was
I'm not
cool.
flying.
No, you're
No
not.
one's flying on me.
No one's flying on
Yeah.
my screen.
Oh, okay. It looked like you guys
Maybe
like flew
server, Like,
Yeah.
when we
All right.
were over there, then.
Let me show you guys. So, big part of you know, obviously of our testing is automation. You know, we have bots that we play with. We have actual testers that jump in, the Alpha 1 testers, and then we also can summon bears. Let me summon some bears.
It was pretty funny though. Toast got lost in all the bears.
Really?
Such a good screenshot. And I took another screenshot, and you can just see bears for like miles up a hill. It's crazy.
There you go. I summoned some bears. 10 of them.
Hi,
So
bears.
pretty.
So
It's
you
not 5,000.
no, just 10. I just wanted to show how the 10 of them appear. And now let me
I
summon
kill
some. Yeah, you can kill one. Here, go ahead.
Yeah, they have behaviors, so.
Oh, that guy was easy.
Well,
to
that was a
kill.
quick kill.
I think they're all.
There you go.
Yeah, it must be like low level.
Yeah, we're level 10 and these are just little
Yeah.
level 1 boys.
All right, here, let me
Yeah,
summon
they're
a few more.
they're almost one-shotting them all.
To find a few.
I'm gonna summon 100 now. Oh no! Oh, I don't know if we can actually. They're aggroing. Run, flee.
The bears look good.
Okay, wait. Let me summon a few more. Summon a few. Oh my! Wait, they're loading in. They're loading in. Oh no! I summoned 1,000.
Real fast.
I summoned 1,000. Ah!
Start
I
killing
can't
them.
even get out of here.
Alive.
So you're seeing, you know, there's 1,000 bears that my computer's rendering right now at 4K. My frames are dropping a little bit, but on the server, they're all still acting and reacting. Oh my gosh!
Wow, look at
And I'm dead.
the latency.
Oh no! Let me respawn.
Now
Let me
they've all
respawn.
caught up.
Let me come back and I'll summon a few
Okay,
more thousand.
But okay, so this is kind of
Jeff,
Okay, so this is showing us a server mechanic in that, yes, you can have all of these NPCs and it's rendering. Clearly, his client can't keep up, um, which is good. I mean, that's progress, right? Showing us that, yeah, you can have all of this stuff. The servers aren't going to completely shit the bed. So it's good. But, yeah, it's a small mechanic. The bears look great, though. I mean, the bears look, like their movement looks pretty legit. So, can't take anything away from that. But I mean, at least we're seeing something. We haven't seen something like this before, so I'll definitely take this as evidence that the servers can absolutely handle this much stuff on the screen. And which means when you add players to the mix, if you're in like a city, metropolis, or something like that, you shouldn't have a problem rendering 1,000 players, for example. So that's good. This is good.
Jeff, it looks like you're dying.
I'm taking care of the bears.
Yeah, we're
No,
just.
they took care of me.
I'm trying to stay near toast. Protect the toast.
Oh, Jeff. Oh, no. I spawned pretty far away from you guys, though.
Yeah, and it looks like, so Jeff respawned.
But, I think we
looks
can
like
talk
they
a little
did
bit more, obviously, about this on
spawn
stream.
away
It's
from
getting,
each other.
what time is it? Oh, no, we have the stream in 45 minutes. So we'll talk a little bit more about testing automation. Hope you guys enjoyed a little look again inside of Vera. Obviously, we're going to be showing a lot more as testing continues forward and, leading up to the NDA release. But we will see you guys back on stream.
See ya, everybody.
Bye.
Everyone.
And we're back. We'll just play the video on the side. We'll sweet chat. Steven's
So,
summoning all the
as-
bears on us.
I know.
Still would have
really
liked to
solid.
see some more actual
It was a bit
mechanics,
overall.
but
Yeah, I love the bear puns. But as you
Yeah,
guys
take
saw,
what we can get.
At the end there, those are actual NPCs, 1,000 plus of them, and we can even get it higher at at the stage that we're at right now. That is a very significant achievement, particularly in Unreal Engine 4 for an MMORPG. That's a pretty big achievement. So big kudos to the Intrepid team on getting getting the server able to handle that, especially in the testing. When we had the 5,000 bears, we also had
hey,
hundreds of players
Fenrir's
as
back.
well.
How's it going there, Mr. Fenrir? And he's back in with a sub. I didn't take you off the list anyways. I figured you'd be back. How's it going there, Mr. Fenrir? How come I'm not getting my music? Should have had my music. Oh, maybe the hard drive hasn't kicked up yet.
The area, and we were still operating at a performant server side. So that was very cool to see.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about on that front? But of course, I know we also want to talk a little bit more about our progress towards Alpha 1 on other ends. I know, Jeff, your team has definitely been working on different systems and all kinds of combat. I know combat is one of the things that people are most curious about because I know there's going to be some massive changes.
Bet it's this. Yeah, see, now this one will work. Yeah, because the voice Vox thing is took over my headset, but I thought that's probably what happens. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, I was using my boom mic. It's right here. I was using this one, and then you subbed, and then it somehow switched my mixer to go back to the headset mic. So I don't know I have no idea what's going on there. But I appreciate the sub anyways. But hey, if you guys can hear me on this one, I guess we go back to this one. So, because it's trippy. I'll have to edit this part out for the YouTube bit. But yeah, okay. Well, it's back up working. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, good to see you back there, Mr. Fenrir. And Bobby RL, have I played any of the alpha tests? No, I have not. Not yet. I'll have to wait for Alpha 1 to be re-released. see how much it is going to cost, and kind of see if I can justify the cost. Because if it's going to be like $150 for a month of alpha, I'm not too sure I'm gonna do that. However, if it is more of there's going to be more alpha 1, I guess, part of that, then I'll probably jump in and do that. So, because I do want to play the alpha 1. I know it's not actually playing the game; it's testing the game. A lot of people, anybody that goes into the alpha 1 thinking that they're going to be playing the game is going to be very unhappy, and they're not going to understand what alpha is. So, no, and alpha, I expect them to be about 2 years out. I would say this game's got 2 more years of solid development, at least, based on everything that I've seen. Which, for how long they've been in development, we'll keep them still in that average time it takes to develop an MMO. I know some people would like it to come out sooner than later, but I'm thinking at this point, it's going to be 2023 or 2024 before we see this game in close to a release date. I think this alpha stuff is going to last for a solid year at least. And then they'll probably take, year and a half, almost 2 years before they get in around to the betas. So, yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it'll be mid 2022. I would say, optimistically late 2023 or early 2024. I would say optimistically, probably, fall 2024. And that's if they don't run into a whole lot of snafus. If most of their big delays are behind them, I think Ash is, again, couple of years at least, which would put them at about a six-year development cycle. Most good MMOs take between 5 to 7 years on average. If Star Citizen ever sees the light of day, then that average will probably bump up to 9 years as an average. Because Star Citizen, that was supposed to come out in 2016, if I remember right. And here we are 5 years later. So, yeah.
Just coming to combat.
Yeah, combat's a big push for us right now. What will actually be shown in Alpha 1 is a little bit in flux. We're trying to, we basically have gotten a brand new tool that allows.
Yeah, as Fenrir says, I think that might have been the plan, but things have not gone the way they thought it would from what their letters have said. Yeah, exactly. And I did my reaction to the latest dev letter before this, and of the letters I've read recently, it's the one that I like the most. It actually has, I believe, the most honesty and the most openness, especially when Steven's talking about the alpha itself, and that the alpha isn't game playable. The alpha is there for people to test. And the expectation is anybody that gets into the Alpha 1 is going to be there to test and help them test, not to try and play a game. So, but yeah, MMOs take a long time. And like I've been saying, the sad thing is early access games and pre-release access has really hurt the gaming industry in a big way, because yeah, it feels like a really long time when there was a time that this was normal. Like, this was how it was. And then the suits figured out, the corpo rats, they figured out, well, if we do pre-release or if we do early access where people can get into the game before it's finished, they'll pay up money early. And then the suits take all their money away, and the developers then don't have the money to finish making the game that they wanted to. The suits have ran away with their pockets full. And like with Cyberpunk, the refunds start coming in, and it's the developer studio that now has to shell out what's left of their money in refunds and stuff, and that really delays games. It causes a lot of games to be canceled, and then that just makes us, the players, upset. It makes us not want to trust games and game developers, and it's at the end of the day, it's not their fault. Cyberpunk 2077, the developers didn't want to bring the game out. It was the suits that did. It's the investors, it's the backers, because they want their money. And can we get that out of games and game design and stuff? Not really. Steven's that odd duck. Steven, because he's personally, guaranteeing this game. Make no mistake, we are funding it through buying stuff in the store with the monthly cosmetics and buying the pre-order packages and stuff like that. But he himself has been very on the level that an alpha is going to be an alpha. It's not going to be a green light. It's not going to be early access. It's not going to be anything playable. This is going to be that old school concept of what an alpha is, and that means people have to play it and break it and report on what broke and actually be a part of that design process. Whereas again, nowadays, you get these early access and whatnot games. The game's completely unfinished, and for the most part, like Anthem and Cyberpunk and stuff like that, it doesn't. Most of the time, it doesn't work out very well. You have a game like Valheim. It's still, I would say, in a early beta position. The fundamentals are there. The foundations of the game are there. But there's so much more yet to be added to flesh out the world, flesh out the story, flesh out the gameplay. And I would say Valheim's probably one of those rare instances where, they could release it as it is, and it would be a relatively successful game. Whereas, you look at everything else. Yeah, Fenrir says, yeah, them saying that everything is broken, don't expect things to work in alpha. And that's exactly right. They're basically what alpha is you're testing the strength of the foundation, because it's the foundation that holds up the rest of the building. If your foundation is weak, then the rest of the building, strong wind blows it over. Game has very limited life. People are going to get mad. They're going to get upset. So Steven's doing it right. And in his last letter, I think he said all the right things, right? He's very firm in what he said when he relates to this is an alpha. It's not meant to be played as a game. And as an Alpha 1 tester, you basically have an obligation to help us test the game, not run around and think that you're going to complete content and mission chains and stuff like that. And that's why I think the last letter was the best one. So if you haven't read the April 14th letter from Steven, definitely encourage you to do that. I'll have my video reading / reaction to it up sometime this afternoon, because I have to pretty much throw it through the editor, upload it to YouTube, and I can probably do that once I'm done this reaction video to this. But we've kind of gone off topic, but that's okay. I will leave this part in. I'll just take out the silence part. That's only 2 or 3 minutes, and let's get back to the video. So anyway, so what they just showed us here, again, the only thing they've showed us of value was that you can have a whole bunch of NPCs on the server and the server doesn't crash, which is fantastic and phenomenal, right? He added 1,000 and in a very small area. That's great. That is, I think, the first meat that we've seen in months of like a functional foundational element of this game. And it's nice to finally see something like that, because that's important, because sieges, your caravans, your wars, your battles and stuff. I mean, they're all going to need to be able to have those numbers of units in an area, and the server needs to be persistent. Now, whether or not your client is going to be able to handle it, that's the other test. Steven's client wasn't able to handle it. He was getting attacked, and there's some latency issues there. That's stuff they have to fix. But that's okay. That's part of the testing. The simple fact the server didn't crap the bed, that is great, right? So when we talk about the foundational elements of what should make up an alpha, that is a very important aspect, because that is one of those core elements of this game. The promise of this game is that 1,000 people or 500 people can fight in these epic, massively multiplayer battles. So if the server can stay up, that's awesome. Now, what does that mean for clients? How is that going to work? That could get a little more interesting. Are they going to have to maybe do something what Eve does with a time dilation of sorts, where maybe things slow down a little bit? Can they slow it down, just a fraction, so we as players don't really notice it, or it gives us as players maybe a little extra time to react? Who knows? Now, because you have to remember, they have to build this game around a very broad combination of system specs, from old GPUs with newer CPUs, to old CPUs and older GPUs, to maybe a newer CPU but an older, like they have all these combinations that they have to factor in, so that no matter where you sit, is your computer 6 years old? Is your computer brand new? Can you enjoy a similar or same experience in a similar or same situation? And that's going to be the fun part of this. So it's really good to see them finally, after months, show something that is foundational to their promise of what this game can do. It doesn't seem like much, but it is reasonably significant.
Allows us to author abilities both faster, and then also have those abilities act more responsibly than the system that we're using right now. So the connection between your character and what your character is doing is going to feel a lot better once we make this conversion, especially when it comes to all the abilities. Then on top of that, we've got a whole separate branch of combat prototype things that we're trying. And we're going to be playtesting those internally to see how they feel and kind of get a sense of what we want to bring over to the live game. So there's a bunch of weird stuff, cool stuff, awesome stuff that we're all just trying out, throwing on the wall to see if it works. And for the things that do work and that the people who are playtesting it give hey, this is really fun, I really like this, we'll incorporate that into what's going on with the live
definitely
game,
works within the theme
kind of,
for Valheim.
Make it live, and sort of as that feedback rolls through, that's going to be kind of gauge
it's more patience than talent
to the test. So not entirely sure exactly how much of that will make it in. It's possible that everybody hates everything we've done and then none of it goes through. So
I try to play off on the dwarf / Viking.
So that's kind of where we're at on the combat side.
It's almost long enough for me to curl.
To note, as we kind of introduce
might have to curl
combat,
at some point.
Components, all of that's going to be tested and collecting feedback for that. And as Jeff said, some might make it through, some might not. But the important thing is, we understand the absolute importance of combat, because it is the most tactile and interfaced thing that you do as a player in the game, right? It is relevant and everywhere. So the great thing that what we're doing is we're incorporating you guys as the community as part of that feedback system, so that we can continue to cater and adjust what needs to be adjusted. So you're not going to see just a full thrown combat system. Oh, this is a brand new combat system, everything's there. It's going to be rolled out little by little. You're going to see these things get implemented little by little. You're going to have an opportunity to kind of
still think this camp
needs
more NPCs in it going about their business.
Like Steven said, this is the thing most people touch the most often, and it really needs to feel good. And it's a big thing that I care a lot about. So we're going to spend a lot of time doing it. It's not going to come out of the box perfect.
if you were only half paying attention to that, like, this is the thing I touch most often, and it's the thing that people really care about. It's like, what did I miss?
But it should be a pretty big improvement, and then we'll continue to make continual refinements as we move forward. We've got a long way to go there, and then there's a lot of other things that kind of depend on that too. So the quicker we find those answers, the better for our project.
Absolutely. And then some other stuff that you guys saw in here. Obviously, the world is constantly being updated. It is constantly being moved forward. You can just see that and looking
you're right,
back,
Pug.
in the
It's nice to
videos
see
we've had over
everybody.
the last couple of years of the game, that things are always changing. So you're going to continue to see that even, as soon as next month. Was next month? Was April? We're still in
Next
March
month's
right
May.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
So
Margaret's
you're gonna
pussy.
see that, as we continue to show footage next month and in May when we drop the NDA,
There
you're going to
goes
see a lot
Margaret
of these areas
stroking her pussy on
get some
screen.
cool updates and some changes incorporated.
That's a nice looking
And
kitty.
then we're also just working on a ton of content, like you saw in the video. There's a kind of redone that whole starting area where that portal is. And the entire population of that area was going to shift a little bit. It's going to be kind of similar, but we're adding a bunch of new quests and probably some internal dungeon spaces in that area. And so it should be. There's going to be a lot more content for folks to kind of participate in that part of it. We want that first experience to be a little bit better than what it is right now, and get people their feet wet. We've had a lot of people who've been playing the game kind of understand how it works, but there's going to be a lot of new people who haven't ever touched it, so we want to make sure that their experience is pretty smooth. But do keep in mind it's still an alpha, and there's going to be a lot of rough edges to a lot of things. So
yeah, and just to give even a little bit more context, real quick, kind of last point here. With regards to the bears, those bears and what they're doing kind of on the server, that's a lot of traffic and processes that are being, computed. Like these bears, they have behavior state changes, they have hate lists, they have aggros, they need to replicate their position.
What
they
do you
need
mean by
to
sense of humor?
understand
I
all the
was
player
just
positions.
describing what I was
They
seeing
do
on
with their
screen.
attacks, they're doing damage. That's going to set back forth. I mean, this is a lot of information that is being had on the server side. So while what you're seeing now, it looked a little bit rough, there's a considerable amount of time for us to fine tune and optimize that even further. The fact, though, that at this stage, the numbers we're seeing and are able to accomplish, that bodes very well for the types of battles that we want to have in the future, the types of concurrencies, the types of, just putting that massive back into massively multiplayer. These are the things that we strive for on a technical side,
You guys
because
and your
from a
dirty
design
minds.
point of view, these are the types of encounters we want players to be able to experience, and not have to be segregated out into just 100 player chunks, right? That I think is going to be a very fun aspect of Ashes.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome to see that, like from my perspective, right? I don't think I've ever been a part of a game that has been able to do something like that. It's not just server optimization, but it's network optimization as well, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into making 1,000 characters on the screen work like that in an MMO contest.
Well, the nice thing is, hopefully, if they can really optimize this 1,000 characters on screen, and really stretch that out to whatever limits they can, that's going to make a metropolis really feel lived in. You'll have lots of NPCs. You'll have the ability to have a lot of characters running around, and a metropolis being a city size, it should look and feel lived in. It should have lots of characters running around, but it should also have a lot of citizens, NPC citizens, moving about and living their life in that city. So that's why this, I think, is such a good detail and a big detail as far as foundational elements go, because I don't like running into a city, an NPC zone or something like that, and it's dead. Like that there's thousands of people on the server, but because it can only show you so much, everybody gets sharded, so that you don't always see everybody. Now, at the same time, you also want to limit congestion points. So how they organize the cities is going to be very important too, so that we as characters aren't all congregating in the same 2 or 3 areas. You want things to move around. So perhaps what you could do, certain vendors could be sharded, so that the different stalls might be a little different depending on the player, so that we're not all going to the same stalls, right? Or say if you're a mage, you'll go to a stall that maybe prefers mages, and you might get a better deal. And that way you kind of spread out the player base throughout the metropolis as well. Could be a nice idea. Something that does, again, you want the game to feel lived in, but not just with players. You need to have some NPC elements. So if you have 1,000 players on screen, what happens to those NPCs? So you want to try and make sure all of those things kind of mesh together. And I think that's kind of what they're talking about here. And I'm really excited for that aspect, because I really do. I want a game that feels like there's life there, and not just everybody's either at the bank or at the auction house, like in WoW, right? I want there where you see people walking and moving around, and not even in a role play, because I'm not huge on role playing. But if you have things positional, where the players have to move around or whatnot a little bit more than say traditionally in a lot of games, that I think it's a quality of life thing. Even if you're not a role player, you're still going to notice and enjoy more life. And again, that's, I think, what they're talking about here. And I think it's a really important aspect of what would be a massively multiplayer online game. And we want those kind of hubs.
Client-side single-player game, but when you're talking about a game that is server authoritative and all that stuff is running on the server, like that's really cool to see happen, like to see it live. It's when I saw the bear event, like my mind was blown. I did not think that we'd be able to do something like that, especially at this stage of the game. So it's pretty awesome.
And there have been people asking questions in regards to the content that you're talking about. Will there be dungeons and raids and things of that sort for them to test in alpha as well?
I mean, there'll be some, right? Don't. It's not going to be a full,
Cat definitely has some
experience.
interesting
markings. Have, I think, something on the order of like 6 or 7 dungeons. One of them is what I would call like semi-raid level.
And I can make cat jokes
through, with less than that, just given the tuning on it. We've got one world boss that is going to be raid level, so it's a true 40-person raid boss, and it's probably going to be pretty challenging to defeat. I'm not sure if it will be defeated during this alpha, but we'll see. There's a
players will figure out a way to do it.
Bosses, which
players
are
will absolutely figure it out.
So there will be a dungeon experience. There will be kind of a raid-ish experience, but all that stuff takes a lot of time to really tune out and make. And so we've got a handful of those things, but not like a full world of that yet.
Yeah, and just to touch on that a little bit further, I know that in the past, I said I was going to be considering opening up Alpha 1 sales again if we hit a certain level of achievement that I was waiting for. It is looking very good that that's going to be the case here over the next month. We're going to evaluate internally, but with the testing that was done over the past couple of weeks, I am very, very happy to see where we've gotten to overcome those February obstacles, and we'll be considering opening Alpha 1 sales again. And essentially, when we talk about what this experience for Alpha 1 is going to be, that month-long experience,
one of the kitties is
it is
going after
not
a plant.
intended to be a content experience. I just want to make sure we preface
that pussy's
this for
looking
anybody
for
who's
wood.
considering, right, if when we do open up Alpha 1 again, participating,
Probably just wants to crop in the flower
essentially
pot.
are a tester. You're like a QA tester. You're jumping in here. You're giving us the data that we need. You're providing us with warm bodies to kind of run through and give us a look at our,
I want to buy a
technical
cactus.
Underside, making sure that we're hitting the beats we need to hit.
Thinking
it is not intended
my
to
Lauder
be a
with Crowder
game
cup.
experience. It is not intended
Get like
to
one
be
of those little
a,
cactuses that can go in here.
fully-fledged content experience.
Maybe like a
So keep
Minecraft
that in
cactus.
mind. You're really
figure out
The
how I
alpha
can make it
testers we
grow
have
like
now
a
are putting up with a
like a
lot, and
like
we are
a
super
rectangle.
appreciative of them. I mean, as a studio, as a project, as a game, you guys as a community should be really appreciative of the work that they're doing too, because it is instrumental in us being able to fine tune what needs to be fine tuned, in finding the issues earlier rather than later. That's a very important piece of the puzzle. So just keep that in mind. A fair consumer warning.
Yeah, it's like we're putting enough.
Yeah, sorry, I was foot pedaling. Yeah, I think there would be rivers or lakes underground. I don't think we're going to see huge oceans or anything. I think the underground realm is only like 200 by 200, so it's going to be about half the map. But I would absolutely hope to see that there would be lakes and rivers, because you're you're still going to want to fish. You're still going to want to do some, maybe not sailing, but rowing or something like that to some degree. So yeah, I would hope so. As far as how they announced, and I think on the forums I remember somebody asking, and I think they said something about it would be, it's likely that we're going to see some underground water features. So I hope there will be, because that'd be kind of cool. Again, how big? Hard to say.
Content to like at least have stuff that's interesting for you guys to do while you're testing, but it's not a focus. It's not we don't expect you to be testing the content outside of like, does the content function?
Yeah, what's important for an
Taylor,
alpha is that
Trad,
you have your core fundamentals
Chris,
in place.
Brian,
So
Jeff,
sound
all of
like
you guys are
they're
doing an
saying
awesome
that a
job
lot
on
of
the
those are
content front,
there.
so keep up
I
great.
just wish we saw
You know,
more
Steve,
of
you
them in
started
these
saying the
development
names, and you got to
updates.
say them all.
I know. I forgot Doug. Doug just joined
Doug.
as well.
Yeah.
It's one thing to
Um,
talk
And
about
Corey.
it.
And
We
Corey
want to
as well.
see it. We want to see this stuff in
Yeah,
action.
Um, all right. From there, obviously, we've been showing off a lot of the environment stuff, but we are going to show off some of the environment things that they sent my way that they wanted to share with you all. So first up, we have a couple different objects that they have been working on. Got a nice pile of bones
Some bone
there.
piles and
Oh
some
wow,
cages.
that's dark.
We went with I don't know if
Oh.
that first thing was a cage. It kind of looked like a cage.
Yeah.
That's just a
And
red
then we have bones.
red outline.
I know there's a couple different building structures,
little hut.
and some of these you've seen in the concept art that I showed in previous
Yeah, that was for the
months.
bird people or something,
Um,
wasn't it? Those things.
So you might recognize them.
I remember
They've been
from the
doing a really
concept
great
art.
job of making. I think Jeff mentioned this in our previous dev update, was that when you look at the concept art versus the actual in-game, it's almost a replica.
One
It's
for one.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are all
Yeah, good detail
examples
there.
of Slayborn architecture. Those are the corrupted bird people
Ah,
that
that's
we've
right.
referenced a long time ago in some of our older live streams. And that's one of the tribes called the Satari.
And then we're going into these like wrecked ship pieces.
Yeah, I'm hoping next month we'll show off some of the shipwreck / pirate cove / water areas.
Yeah.
After
I
it
think
gets the touch up from the water shader and
everybody's
lighting.
excited about the Pirate
I
Cove.
know.
Like, it is really cool.
Speaking of which, we do have some pirate stuff that we're going to show off. Moving on over here, we have some location updates. You can see some of the terrain that they've been working on. It's some different plants.
That looks very cool. Kind of
grasslands,
So
the
you can see
mountains
those are
associated
all
with
great.
the portal revamp
Pre-mountain-
area. So this is all,
pre-mountains.
if you could picture the ruins, it might, oh, that's different now.
Yeah, now
Sorry,
it's
I'm like
going
15
to the,
seconds behind.
Yeah, now it's going to the cove stuff. Yeah.
This one looks really good. I like the castle there. What's left of it, or a
And
wall.
we'll actually have a fly-through video of the pirate dock POI. But you
Almost
can see
looks
the
like
light
something you'd
shining-
see in Red
shining
Dead
through the
Redemption.
trees, some of these buildings. A little town, a little village.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a gallows.
Yeah, I love it. Love the work environment does. It's just, just keeps getting better.
Yeah, the art and environment they do
Yeah,
an
it's
awesome job.
Awesome. I
Like the
can't wait to
game
see
always
when we have
looks
different festivals
great.
and stuff too, decorating all the towns. And obviously this is one that we saw,
Yeah, one of
which
the
is a work in
corruption areas.
progress. This is the area that we saw in game.
Like the game always looks so good. The nice thing is by
Yeah,
the
the
time the
corruption.
game comes out,
So that's a cool component.
we should be caught up
obviously,
on all
of,
the
you know,
video
how the world
cards,
kind
so
of
everybody
reacts
can
and
upgrade
changes
their video cards.
to the nodes. You kind of see these intrusions of corruption beginning to pervert and infest the lands, and these are obviously going to be sources by which NPC events kind of are driven based on player progression within the world. And
Almost,
you know,
almost
these
makes me
sources
think Black
of,
Sails,
of,
looking
of
at that.
evil need to be addressed by the players, or else they'll grow out of hand.
Yep,
And
as the
then we
world
have-
levels up,
there's a
or as the
fly-through.
players level up, the world levels up around them.
And this is a little fly through from the engine of the pirate POI, dock POI area. Not the caves. I think that's the part that Jeff
Yeah,
is
this is
excited to
different
show
than the
you.
Cove. This is actually
It still
dynamic
looks
POI. This one
really
will
nice.
evolve as players evolve the node that it's attached to. So this is kind of its final state. But
Yeah, I mean that's one of the cool, you know, core
That ship's not going anywhere
functions
fast.
of these points of interest across the
those
world is
sails are
that
pretty
dynamic
shredded.
level up, right? As the world grows, these points of interest grow. You know, additional buildings will spawn, additional monsters and leaders and quest hooks. You know, all of these things start to grow with the world, and that's part of, you know, our trying to achieve that living, breathing, you know, buzzwords that have been used in the past, but really haven't quite been, I think, realized in a lot of our experiences as players. And you know, it creates obviously a lot of content, and that's
it's
kind
hard.
of
It's really hard to do.
it's very hard, but you know, the philosophy I think that we hold is the more sandbox elements you provide players, the more choice, the more impact they have over the world. Really, that is a direct correlation to the amount of content that has to be then
That looks like
presented
that'd be a
back
good
to the player, because
PvP area.
there's
You
no
could control
point
the
in
port.
opening a door if there's nothing behind the door. You have to have, if you're going to provide multiple doors to the players, you got to have multiple things behind the doors. So you know, that's obviously part of our big task, our big job.
What do you guys think? I think it looks pretty good.
A lot of pressure on the design team, on the art teams, you know, to surface that content. But I think what it creates is
it's a
very compelling,
pretty legit layout.
immersive, and
Everything's not so smushed
reactive
together
world
like you
that-
find in a
that
lot
many
of
us can
games.
lose a
There's
lot of
actually
time
some
in.
space.
And I think
adds more
sometimes
dimension
you guys see
to
a
the
lot
location.
of art, and you don't get to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that like the design team is working on, the engineering team is working on. I feel bad because the engineering team sent me some stuff that they wanted to share, but I'm like, that's not really stuff we want to show people because, you know, we have to think about security too. So I think like that's the other side of it too, is that, you know, you don't get to see the behind the scenes of how the systems are created and like necessarily the little tiny bits on that
I
front.
think the
for security
engineering team just
purposes,
wants
you know?
their
We
time
try
in
to
the
show it
spotlight
once-
because they don't
once
really
it's
get a lot
in
of
a
that.
more like a user facing way is the best way to explain it. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Art
I mean,
and environment
it's important
always
to
gets
note
the props
that,
in these
From a
things.
visual standpoint, everything you ever see that we show you in game has code and engineers behind the screen.
Yes. And I think someone in
We
chat
couldn't
had
do it
asked about
without
like
them.
Yeah.
optimization, and that goes into everything that we're doing, right? Like that's constantly something that we're worrying about is optimization and performance.
Yeah, this game will live or die based on its optimizations.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and we are making great strides on that already, and that's obviously the purpose of us incorporating you guys into the testing, you know, as early as possible, even when it's not in that state that is representative of what people might be accustomed to from other projects. With Alpha, it's because that optimization, that vetting of our technology is very integral to our design philosophy as well, right? We want to have those massive engagements. We need to start optimizing and testing as early as possible.
All right. Going to move on to our character stuff, unless you guys have anything else you want to add on environment. Our environment team, we love you. You're amazing, all of
We
you.
really do.
Yay!
All right, moving on.
I want to
to
see
character.
that Dunir
So
dungeon.
you may have seen the
and,
Harvest Guard before. This was our
what more they've done
November
with it.
2019 costume, and then
Oh
the
wow, that's
Still
very
Soul
chrome.
plate, which was December 2020, I think.
Very chrome.
And we have some Valoon plate, which
Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
this
that's the
is
first time
progression.
I'm seeing the steel
Wait,
soul.
show me this steel soul. Was it?
It's in the run of show too. If you guys,
Oh.
I put all the images there so you don't have to watch them live.
Almost looks like Green
Got
Arrow, but
I feel like we just
Red.
ran past it though, like it was
or
up for a second.
Assassin's Creed. even.
It's like a, what do you call
Oh,
it?
Yeah, I mean, then you got
A
Mr.
slideshow.
Chrome.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Wow,
Chrome dude.
that's looking good.
How'd you like to polish
It's
that
not even
armor?
done. So these
Yeah,
are all
no, that's
work
a
in
work in
progress.
progress. Yeah, it looks good.
Right.
Very cool.
And then we have a turntable of the Valoon plate as well.
So it
Nice.
looks like you could definitely move side to side a little bit, maybe lean
I feel like he's wearing a
backward.
shield in his belly.
Now
yeah,
this is an in-game
I mean, you're not
achievable
leaning forward
um,
wearing that armor,
armor set.
so that's going to restrict your ability to do certain
this is a progression
moves.
plate. So this was not a cosmetic. This is
But,
in-game level
looks
10
good, though.
through 20, I believe. Right, Jeff?
10, 15, I think.
Level 10
yeah.
Don't know how
yeah.
serviceable
Level
it
10
would
to
be.
15. This is an example of some plate armor that players can achieve inside the game. Just to give you guys comparisons at
It's
those
nice and
tiers.
gold.
All right. And we
Is
have
it
some
gold and
creatures from
bronze?
our lovely character team. Got this little eyeball beholder.
Ooh.
The little tiny eyeballs on the back.
He's
Anybody
not a
who doesn't like
beholder, though.
eyeballs is
That's
not
a-
going to enjoy this.
Yeah, don't say the B
don't
word.
say the B word. That's a D&D thing.
I know.
But
Well,
he,
there's
he
those
is
are
a
everywhere.
he's a different thing, right?
It's like
He's
a spermy eyeball.
He's like
Seer.
a weird tadpole seer, a watcher.
It's like a spermy eyeball.
Yeah, creepy. And
Yes, it's
then
creepy.
we've got
That's a pretty good detail
this
too.
one, which I don't even know
Oh wow,
what this thing is, but I love it.
that looks kind of cool.
So that's a big dude, and
It's
the
almost
idea-
like-
it's a really big dude. And the idea behind him
Yeah, like a
is you're gonna
troll type?
see, big monsters. I think the character comes up to like his elbow, maybe, or just beneath the elbow.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that'd be like a
I'm not sure, but,
variation on like
you're gonna see these big
a forest or a
elites kind
mountain
of just
troll.
roaming and wandering through the world, right? They're
part
not
of that family?
assigned to any particular hunting ground. They just kind of, roam. And I think that component is pretty
kinda-
cool, especially
it's
when you
kind
have
of
an
a
open
neat-looking
world,
character.
right, where you can see something unique that's not matching kind of the monsters you're hunting in a certain area.
And it
but just
looks
scrolls by,
unique.
and
It doesn't
you're
look
gotta
like
call your
something you
friends,
see
like,
in a
"Oh my
lot
God,
of
let's
games.
get this thing,
And then you don't.
And then you don't.
It's
That's
sick.
That's kind of cool looking.
I'm excited to be able to use this body
That's
structure too.
kinda
It's
neat.
cool. Very neat. I can't wait till we
Long
find
neck.
I'm sure Jeff's team is the most excited because you
I
guys
wonder
get
if it's
to
a
make the VI for
herbivore, an
all of them, pretty
omnivore
much.
with those teeth
Yeah,
that
the
say
whole
this is
process of making
more
an
of a
NPC is a lot of fun.
herbivore.
There's
Actually,
a lot of
looks
fun
like the
design work
teeth
that
are
goes
made
into
more
it.
for
Maybe we could
grinding
show,
than
This is
like,
like
anything.
the-
stage one.
Maybe we
Grinding,
could show like
crushing.
the progress. Do like a video on that, like of the creation
It
of a
would.
creature.
We could try, yeah. The problem is a lot of that stuff happens like on in a Word document, right? So
Yeah.
we kind of like go back and forth, like, oh, this would be cool. Oh, we can't. Do
Definitely
that 'cause
something
it's
that
gonna cost
you
too much,
expect
and,
to see in
so
like
there's always a lot of back and forth on that.
lowland
It might
forest
be fun to do that once we get back
next
in
to
the office. We
mountains
can
or
have, like, a
hills.
conversation about
you know,
like
maybe in a
Recording a
ravine.
brainstorm
the whole
thing.
design process of an NPC on paper, and that would be
Yeah.
kind of fun, maybe.
I know we want to do the Dev Diary series again, but that kind of required us to all be together.
No, for sure.
So that would definitely be something that would be part of a Dev Diary series. So when we're back in the office, we'll try to bring
Doesn't
those
look
back.
like it gets a
'cause
lot
I
of
definitely
sun.
think
You know, it
they
looks like it's got
let
some
you
moss
have
on
a
it.
better understanding of how things are created.
And maybe it
in the
could be a
world.
swampy type
And if you
area.
haven't seen those, definitely go check them out. They're over on our YouTube channel. There's actually a playlist with all of the Dev Diaries currently, even including our node system and buildings, how we create weapons, and all kinds of stuff. So go check that out. All right, and now I think we're going to move on to our Q&A. Unless y'all have something else you want to mention? No?
No.
All right, let's do
Q&A.
it.
Q&A.
Q&A. All right. Our first question is from Leolani or Liolani. I apologize if I say anyone's names wrong. This is from the forums, and this is about cameras. How do you plan to balance the action camera to make it as viable as tab, which often offers more control over visibility, such as looking behind you?
Good question.
That's a tough one. I think the way we tackle that is the easiness of switching back and forth. But essentially, I mean, the definition of an action camera is that it's tied to the directional of your reticle, right? So there's components that we have applied, like such as how to deploy templated AoE attacks and having that work off of your cursor or your reticle for ease. You can vary out the zoom distance even when you're in action mode, and that'll give you a broader surveillance of the area around you. But essentially, that camera movement in action mode is going to be tied to the reticle center screen, and if you want to be able to kind of look in different areas, there's going to be two options. Either you can switch back to a tab target camera position, or there'll likely be a hotkey that you can hold, and when release, it'll snap back to the action camera. But when you hold it down, it'll give you free camera movement that we might employ. I don't know, Jeff, you have other thoughts on that?
No, I was actually just going to say that in PlanetSide we did something really similar where you had that reverse look camera, and that was something that you could do. Also, just the way in which, I mean, tab targeted stuff and action stuff will play a little bit differently, and they'll have different strengths and weaknesses, right? It's probably not going to be a one-to-one, like all the advantages of tab are going to be all the advantages that an action person has, right? They'll be a little bit different. They'll be a little bit asynchronous, and the hope is that those two things together we can balance, and that people can play
how
their
they
own
marry
way.
those two things together
and with those strengths
is really
and
going to be
weaknesses, they kind of
interesting.
even out. That's the hope at the end of the day.
All right.
Especially when you're doing
Moving
a
on to our next
combination of
question we have
both
from Micmac
action
Muck,
and tab.
on the forums wants to know about apartments. What happens to the stuff I have in storage in my apartment if the mayor decides to destroy the apartment building?
All that stuff should get mailed to you, and you can save out your layout too. So that should all be relatively seamless and not super painful. Be a little bit painful.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably be mad at your mayor for that, but
Maybe you should
Yeah.
vote them out. Vote for a new mayor. All right, our next question is from Talents and Chaos Factor, and they want to know about legendary equipment. Roughly how much stronger might we expect legendary equipment to be over the rarity tier beneath it?
that's a thing we still have to answer, right? Once we start playing with the actual numbers, we'll get to something. It probably won't be. They will function as best in slot, or they might do things that other weapons just don't, right? You can't roll that on any other thing, and it might give you an advantage that way. There's a lot of different ways we want to play with it, but at the end of the day, there still needs to be, because it's a PvP game, a little bit of parity, or not parity, but it's not going to be explosive, right? It'll give you an advantage, but it's not going to be, shouldn't necessarily be a game changer.
Yeah, I would say generally, and we don't want to hold to these numbers because it's highly dependent on testing and balance passes that will be done due to testing. But traditionally, if you see progress from one rarity step to the next up, you can expect anywhere probably from 6 to 12% increase just on base stat
It's
values.
not bad.
That's something, again, that's going to be kind of tested and balanced out.
That's the difference
but
of one or
generally
two
around
hits.
that area.
Yeah, it's like we want legendaries to feel unique, right? They're not just going to be stat bars, right? They're not going to just be a chunk of stats that you get. We really want them to feel different than
Right.
items. They want them to feel legendary. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, I think this next question is a life in symmetry, and they wanted to know about taming. Will I be unable to tame a monster in the wild that has the same appearance as a cosmetic mount / pet?
So, I mean, there's going to be a wide arcing range of tameable animals that exist in the wild. Some of those variants.
Wonder how much Pokemon feel we're going to have in this game.
Perspective, maybe tameable.
Like, if you want to go that route, can you tame them all?
When you kind of look at that taming system,
I mean, there's probably going to be an achievement tree for that
players are going to have to excel in order to have the ability to tame certain exotic creatures, of which might be those variants.
And when you're talking about cosmetics, you're not talking about the monthly cosmetics you're talking that are exclusive. You're talking about just general cosmetics.
Marketplace cosmetics, correct.
Okay, cool. Just want to clarify because I know people will ask about that. All right, our next question is from Nostra about node advancement. When a node advances to stage 3, village, and enters the 21-day 21-day siege lockout period, what happens if it gains enough XP to advance further? I think during the siege period, stuff would lock down, right? So you wouldn't.
No, so this is, I think, in regards to when a node advances, it's given a 21-day protection against declared sieges. So if it were to advance within that same period of time, then
just
that
reset.
protection would likely apply to the second stage advancement as well.
I don't think that's likely to happen, though.
Yeah, well, from village to town, maybe, but definitely not from town to city or city to metropolis, right?
Right.
But I mean, the idea, just to give context, the idea behind that is, right, there are new functionalities and mechanisms that come online when a node advances, and you want to provide both time for elected governments to take place, which then have direct consequences and choices to be made over defensive capabilities, and also provides time for that node to collect and receive resources through taxation and
So does that mean the 21-day thing
for its citizens to participate in,
resets?
so that it has available treasury funds and or resources to allocate towards defensive structures and other types of defensive systems. So it would make sense that if there were to be an occurrence where a node advances within that window, that window is reset again for the new stage, because there are new correlating services and functions available.
All right. And then we have Big Doof, or Bidoof, Bidoof?
Big Doof.
And they want to know about gear. Will there be gear for artisans that boost their ability to craft / gather stronger items?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Quick answer. Stealth Reborn wants to know about currency. Will there be a currency cap limit, or are we free to hoard as much as we like?
I think generally there should
It's a
not
good
be a
question.
cap on
I don't think
currency.
it might. Well,
I mean, it might
I
be
think
an
technically, I
unachievable
think
cap.
there is one, but
Yeah,
there's only so many numbers we can hold in a
right.
variable. But like that, we're not going to have an artificial one.
Yeah, I mean, from a practical standpoint, on what characters are legitimately capable of achieving, there won't be a cap in that regard.
Okay. Kanansta wants to know about looting. If I die as a green example from a mob or by fall damage, is my tombstone immediately lootable by other players, or will I have a window to recover it?
It would be immediately lootable.
It's hardcore, man. Don't die.
I mean, you're not going to drop your completed gear unless you're corrupt, right? It's going to be a portion of your collected gatherables. But speaking of dying, did you have an opportunity to take a look at the direction of those effects? Or maybe we'll show that next month.
They look awesome.
They
look
do look
awesome.
I wonder if there's a way I can send it to you, Margaret. We can show it just as like an impromptu.
Yeah, if you toss it to me, I don't know which.
Jeff, do you know where it is?
It's a channel that
I think it's in design. Let me check.
Yeah, see if you can find it and just throw her the link, and she can grab it. But to give you guys an idea, right, behind death and kind of the reason for why respawning occurs, right? As you guys know, the avatar of the goddess of creation is the phoenix, right? And the phoenix obviously has some very staple mythological lore to it with regards to the cycle of life and death and rebirth and that type of thing. As you enter into the world of Vera, you are in a way empowered with the spark of life that comes from the goddess of creation herself, and in that sense you're able to house a portion of what that represents in your soul, in the conduit to the essence. And we're now, Jim and the awesome effects team right now are working on actually putting in place the real death effects and rebirth animation and effects. And part of that is on death, your body disintegrates into ash. and leaves behind a pile of ash, which will incorporate some of that material loss that people are talking about. But that'll be the interactable is that pile of ash, and then when you're reborn.
Oh, so you're like sifting through people's ashes to
Yeah,
find the gross.
exactly.
You have to have like
Nice.
stuff sticking out of the ashes then.
Oh no, it's already the first pass.
Or hopefully
is
when
looking
you're
great.
digging through the
didn't
ash,
see
like,
this.
like their
It's gonna
loot, you
start
get this
looking
little
better
I
and better.
just linked it to you.
ash
I'll
cloud that
take
kind
it
of
and
comes up. That'd be
clip it.
kind of cool.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. I think on the
video.
battlefield, as like people are if you're engaged in some type of like giant raid against a boss or in some PvP fight or whatever, you're just going to see people as they take their final hit point damage just start to fall to the ground and disintegrate,
yeah,
and smoke
there you
will
go.
just fly away.
Oh,
Here we go.
that's like
Yes.
reminds me of the
That's kind of cool.
Thanos snap.
And that smoke effect is going to be touched up, but the disintegration and the pile of ash that's
Yeah, it
left
is like the
behind is just gonna
MCU
be-
Thanos.
Yeah, this is the
it's
first
gonna look
pass.
really good. This
That's
is first. This is
cool.
literally
Jim
the
wants
first
everybody
pass.
to know this is first pass.
I know. Poor Jim
Poor
is like, why are
Jim.
you showing this?
He's like, no, I didn't put it in the folder for a reason.
That does look really cool,
yeah,
though.
I try not to.
That looks really neat. I like
obviously,
that.
We let the artists kind of decide what they think is ready to share with
Yes.
people.
And you can
We
see
should
that
have a-
level he's
They wanna
in
be
is
proud.
his special effects level.
Yeah.
So ignore everything that's happening behind him.
We should have a little chat box that comes above the head of the character upon death that says, "I don't feel so good."
Oh god, it looks great.
Was that
looks
Spider-Man's
awesome.
line?
Good job, Jim.
I think that's Spider-Man's line.
All right, I'm gonna move on to the
Remember right?
next question here, which is from Takualian.
I do like that death
Italian?
animation. That's really
I don't know
cool.
if I'm
I
saying
like
that.
that.
Back attacks. Are there plans for back attacks to deal bonus damage, like for rogues or anything like
Backstab.
that? And I think we might have talked about something similar to this in the past.
Some abilities will. Rogues generally will have more of these than others, but we're going to be playing around with it. We can pretty much do contextual, positional abilities from any direction. So you'll probably see some flanking stuff. You'll see some back stuff. You might see some even frontal attack stuff, maybe for the tank or something along those lines.
Cool. And
Yeah, I don't
of
think
course,
tanks
we
should
have
get a
another question here
backstab
from
ability.
Nixel, which is about player stats. Will there be a limit/soft cap for stats, or could I theoretically achieve something like 100% critical hit or block chance?
There will for sure be diminishing returns on certain stats. Yeah, go ahead.
And most stats are contested, which means you're kind of testing your rating versus other people's ratings. So you kind of figure out what the end result is that, but we're not going to go for like hard caps for sure.
All right. Do we have time for some bonus questions, or you?
Yeah, we can take some bonus questions.
Okay, we've got a few here. Toast is
Yeah, we'll be
lovely
almost
and
2
added some
hours
more
on
here
this
for
one.
me. So we have Neurotoxin who wants to know about questing. Will all quests given by NPCs stay static as long as the node remains at the same level, or will there be other conditions that might change their quests?
Good question.
Um,
Can we have evolving quests?
There
there
will be a
can be.
yeah. It kind of depends, right? Like, so for
Need to clean
example,
my
like
screens.
if a particular node stays at a certain stage, but neighboring nodes begin to advance, those can have interactables with certain quest lines that one node, if it stays the same level, might change certain location destinations. It
That's
might have
cool. I
add
like
additional
that.
quest hooks.
I
You
like
might
that.
see
Again, that
population
adds that
changes that
lived-in
occur around
feel
some of the
to
points
the
of
world.
interest that are being delegated to it. Additionally, there might be even longer, more seasonal components that take into account kind of community direction in more organizational quest lines, right? And that could change,
Nice.
some of those as well. You might see
like that too.
achievements like downing certain world bosses affect, quest lines that aren't necessarily tied to the advancement of the node. So there's a lot that goes into kind of making these quests, quote unquote, dynamic and responsive to kind of what happens in the world, and not the vast majority of it is tied
It's
to
all
quest
about
to
making
node
it
progression.
feel
But
lived
there
in.
are
That's
certain
the
elements
important
that are
thing,
tied
right? You
to
want the
other
world
types of
to
events and
feel
achievements
lived
in the
in,
world.
and that's a big
Yeah,
component
there's
of
a
that.
ton of interaction in the game, and so like a question like that's almost hard to answer, because the answer is probably going to be yes, and it's going to be like, to talk about it would have to be like more specific of a kind of.
Well, if you really think about it too, it's going to make it almost impossible to complete every quest in the game because there's all of these conditions, which really is going to make each server unique. Or if you run through various characters, right? Your characters are not going to have the same experience. So it makes the game replayability, because a lot of people will race ahead. They'll max out whatever content, or they'll finish whatever content's currently available, and then they'll go back and they'll restart another character and start it all over again. And they can be assured of a very different experience, and that's something you don't see in a lot of MMOs, like World of Warcraft, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. You'll have a handful of quests that'll be specific to whatever class you're in. But this definitely sounds like it takes it to that next level where you beat a boss, so maybe some quests that would have gotten you to that boss will now change and maybe start pointing you towards a different boss that maybe you haven't quite uncovered yet, but based on how the node structure is in that area, it's very likely that you're going to get to that point, or it's going to send you in a direction to make that happen. And I really like that. I think that's really going to add a lot. Again, it's lived in. It gives you a world that it's not brand new. Like, the thing that really cheeses me about most MMOs is I am the hero and you are the hero, but we are not recognized as heroes. We play from that single player perspective, any multiplayer world. Very few games really look at every character as more than just the sum of itself. It's the group, it's a combination. Now, WoW has kind of evolved a little bit and kind of taken into account your heroes, but you still feel like you're very much the singular hero, regardless of what everybody else does. And this sounds like it's taking into account that other adventurers have completed content, and you will not be able to complete that content because those conditions have been met. But you will have access to different content than they did, and that's still going to lead you in that adventuring path down the road. And again, I really like that. I think that's really smart, and I think it's a good way of doing things.
The question, like, what kind of interaction are you speaking of? Like, what kind of behavior are you talking about? Because it can be hard to nail down like what that means in that context, because the answer is almost always yes.
All right. So it's a combination of depends. Yes, in some cases. In other cases, it might not. Yeah. I love it. I like a good combination of, quests that kind of can spawn, and then other ones where it's like, the projection path for it. So we have a Duck Frog wanting to know about auction houses. Will in-depth auction data be available, such as volume, moving averages, price history, etc.?
Well, somebody that wants to work the auction house.
There will be some elements of that data available. It'll be presented through probably the economic nodes. There will probably have to be some advancement that's made in the economic node for its auctions to kind of show that data. But generally, at a final stage, some of the auction houses will be able to kind of show that data. I'm not sure if
someone's going to make a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about putting that data behind a couple of different service buildings. So that's that's probably how it's going to be surfaced. It's an opt-in, not necessarily. It doesn't come with the system. Your mayor is going to have to build it for you.
All right. So have faith in your mayor.
Yeah, you're going to have some people that are definitely going to be running spreadsheets, trying to control the auction house.
Hakaiju, and it is about gear. Will I be able to raise the level of requirement for my gear? Example, upgrading a level 45 weapon to a level 50 weapon.
No, there isn't itemization progression in that manner. Items are very much crafted on an individual basis and don't really have upgrade potential. There's a deconstruction system that can aid in crafting additional items in the future, I guess, in that sense, perhaps, but really you're then destroying that item for its components and parts in order to incorporate it in another recipe. So you don't really push a particular item's level requirement or the identity of that item. You can enhance it, you can add enchantments to it, but it's still the item it is.
But if you like the look of that item, would you be able to put that look on another one?
Oh, like transmogging?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have appearance systems in place that are similar to that, where you can apply the appearance of certain items on top of
So you have
top
a
of the items
legendary level
So maybe that will
50
still get you what you
sword,
wanted
and
there.
it just
Oh,
looks
okay,
like a
gotcha.
wooden
I was just trying to
stick.
help him like
for sure.
get to what
Like
it
a level
seems like
0
they
wooden
wanted.
stick.
Like maybe they really liked the level 45 look of the weapon, but they obviously want the
That's
level
what I
50
do.
weapon 'cause it's
I'd
more
want to look
powerful.
like absolute
Okay, cool.
trash.
And Xylus or Zillus or
You
Exilus,
know, oh, I'm gonna go PvP this guy.
wants to know about node government. Actually, our next two questions are both about node government. Will the winner of a military node's arena combat automatically become a mayor, or will they be able to designate another player as mayor? Like, so they win the combat, but they're like the champion for somebody else. That's kind of cool.
Oh,
It is
I
pretty
like
cool.
it.
probably
that
won't
would
work
be a change
that
in
way.
direction. We kind of wanted the people who, like, again, this is not a political kind of node. This is a node of power and kind of brute force, right? And so we wanted to represent that in the government. So somebody, having a champion is kind of a political move, right?
Yeah.
And it's about who your friends are and who you know and how much you can pay somebody. And we really wanted it to be like who the most powerful person, that person's the person on top.
Okay. Anything else you want to add on that front, Stephen?
No, that sounds right.
All right. Our last question here is from Hicks.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've
Paxton, and they
fully
wanna know,
figured that
will
system
the
out yet.
service-oriented quest that determine a defined node's leadership be more group-focused or solo-focused?
This is service oriented
This
for
is-
the divine nodes.
Yes.
Yeah, this would be individual
Yeah.
focused.
Because again, remember, it's the points that you get because you are the one who is running for mayor. It's not a council. Which is not to say you couldn't necessarily. I guess you could maybe employ somebody to help you out in some weird circumstances, but it's meant to be solo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically you can invite friends.
If you're
to
watching this on
assist you,
YouTube or
right,
one of the other places I might
in, like,
upload this out to,
I guess
like,
kill content related
subscribe,
devotion tasks.
leave a
But
comment.
generally, most of those devotion oriented tasks in the
And what do you
divine node
think?
are going
Agree,
to be
disagree?
on an individual basis and couldn't utilize outside support. But like Jeff said, the focus on that is your personal contribution.
Perfect. And that's going to wrap it up for our March development update. We hope that you all enjoyed hanging out with us. We definitely love sharing all of the amazing work that our team has been working on, and our Intrepid staff has been amazing. Everyone's kicking major butt, doing lots of work. It's been exciting seeing our team grow. And like Steven said, we're going to be doing another hiring phase in the summer, and we definitely need some more folks to be able to complete this ambitious project that we have going on. But as final reminder that we do have a new dev discussion and guild gathering coming up in April. Please partake in these. These help us decide on a lot of our systems, and it's going to help our design team immensely, understanding what the community wants. Obviously, we have internal things that we want to create.
So what do you guys think about this update?
Those things align with what you guys want as well.
Did you see
And sometimes
anything
you
of
come up with some
value?
other
Did you
ideas that we
hear
didn't think
anything
about.
that answered any questions?
Beyond that, we also
Was
have
there
our
anything
March
that
Cosmetics
created
popping over on
questions?
April 7th. So definitely snag those up if you'd like them. And our next Alpha 1 preview playtest is scheduled for May 14th through May 21st. If you're eligible, expect an email from us as we get closer to the date. And of course, if you are part of our current testing, we'll keep letting you know about spot testing, but shh, it's under NDA. And of course, as always, we will have this up on our YouTube channel afterwards, so definitely go check it out. And right after we end the stream, it'll be over on our Twitch channel. And follow us on all of our social channels: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, every all the things at Ashes of Creation. We want to keep you informed and let you know what we've got going on. We post stuff almost every day, so if you're needing your Ashes of Creation fix, definitely send that our way. And of course, if you create any fan art, please share it with us on our
Yeah,
forums.
so they're just basically just going to wrap things up with their, stuff. Not really going to get too much more as far as an update or anything like that goes. So, takeaways from this video: we got to see some fundamental things as far as um, the number of units that they can have in an area. So they had over 1,000 bears, and Steven's system couldn't quite keep up with it, but the server didn't crash. Very good. That's a very good thing. Um, and a very important feature, right? Because a lot of Ashes of Creation is going to be very dependent on that 500 plus people being in the same area with sieges and with the wagon sieges, castle sieges, node sieges. Guilds are going to be, they say, about 300 people. Well, you get a guild war going on with two fully sized guilds. That's 600 people, right? So you have your guild battles and those kinds of things. Also, when you're thinking about a raid boss, an open world raid boss, you could have several groups attacking that raid boss as well. So a very important mechanic. Again, though, the only real thing that I think they really have to start demonstrating is can the client handle that, right? So Steven's client couldn't. Steven's client, he was getting attacked. You could see his numbers going up, and there's nothing around him. And then, of course, you see all the bears moving in his direction. So that's something they're definitely going to have to work on is making sure that the client can keep up with the server in that regard. But that's something that they will definitely work out in time. And I have all the faith in the world that they will be able to figure that out. So yeah, overall, I would say this is one of the better updates that we saw, mainly because the video was very short. It wasn't as long as some of the half an hour, 40-minute videos that they show that don't show anything of any real value. This one actually showed stuff of value. And of course, as always, the art and the environment look phenomenal. That's something that's always been something that I think everybody compliments them on at the end of the day. So, yeah, we're going to wrap this particular video up right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, please leave your thoughts, comments, like, subscribe, all that other stuff wherever you happen to see this. And we have the next update will be coming up here in a couple of weeks. And we'll kind of go from there. Hopefully we'll get some more news on the Alpha 1 keys, their availability, maybe prices. Are they going to be limited? Because I can't imagine they're going to have an unlimited amount of Alpha 1 keys. So are they going to be limited? How are they going to be limited? And are there going to be any special conditions, right? So if you've already owned, say, an Alpha 2 access, are you going to get like a 24-hour dibs to buy an Alpha 1 access before it moves on? Or if you're a creator, now they don't have an official content creator program, even though apparently there are people out there that list themselves as official content creators, even though no program currently exists. But we'll have to see how that goes. But it's looking a little more promising. If you haven't read it already, definitely read the creative director's letter from April 14th. Some very good insights there about what you can expect as far as the Alpha 1. And I will have a video up already before this one on YouTube where I've gone through that letter. So thank you guys so very much for hanging out and watching. We'll see you guys later.